All right, so the final part of this three-part mini-series in Seed to Fruit, the journey to becoming Dr. J. This is part three, fruit. So I remember telling myself that I have to finish the doctoral journey, but it's important to mention a couple of things. So I, on the family front, my mother had experienced a heart attack. She lives in Barbados. My stepmother was slowly becoming better, but was getting ready to do some aggressive new treatment, and we didn't know whether or not it was going to work. My dad, is a caretaker to my stepmom, and anybody that knows me knows that my dad is one of my adult best friends. So to hear him feel the way that he felt towards certain things really just did something to my heart. And I knew that if he needed me, I needed to stop what I was doing and show up. And I also thought about all of my family and my friends who at this point had knew that I was working on becoming Dr. J, and was doing their best to encourage me, but I had lost hope. And in part because I didn't feel like I was good enough. Like I said throughout all of the series, I didn't think that I was good enough to pursue a doctorate degree. I didn't know what would be next, and also I had encountered what I now know is a narcissist in the form of a friend through church circle. I thought that him and I would be brothers, and that season of life that he was in was just a moment, and that would be someone that would be championing me on. What I realized in that I was not only being drained already, emotionally, physically, spiritually, but I was being drained financially. And so that person ended up, if I'm really candid, upwards of $7,000 had left my account through different things and following the voice of God, which I don't regret following the voice of God. However, not knowing that that person was a narcissist. And so after that figure left my account, and that person disappearing, having to fight through that to get to this date of December 10th, and finally writing that last chapter, which I didn't know I was gonna make. December 10th, 2024 is special because I didn't know that, or didn't recall at the time, that that date was the original date that cohort 27 was supposed to be completed. We were extended to December 17th, but I chose December 10th because it was exactly 90 days to my 38th birthday. And I thought, hey, it's a great thing because I'm 37 and 9 months at that time. Or 37 and 10 months. We do math. And what greater thing is, by the time I hit my 38th birthday, I have already been officially 3 months into being Dr. Jason Walcott, or Dr. J, as a lot of people have been calling me. And so I remember that day distinctly, waking up and not feeling my best. I felt as though I might fail at this presentation, and then I would have to circle back to do the defense by myself, and kind of be an embarrassment. I thought about the road to get there. I thought about not being enough. What if the vision and the dream that I had as a adolescent was just a vision and a dream, and what if God didn't want that to come through? There was all kinds of self-doubt, and I remember just talking to my advisor. We talked several times during that day, and I only remember eating one meal, and most of it was protein. So by 12 o'clock, that was gone. I was hungry, didn't really have an appetite. I wanted to make sure that the presentation was well. And so 5 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Central Time, I set on a course to defend the work that I had spent Out of the 27 months, I want to say about 24 of those months working on this baby of mine, my first book, my dissertation, defending that work. And so my study is particularly new to Trevecca Nazarene University. My study is also new in 21st century education, and it's new to aesthetic education, the world of aesthetic education. And so having that and writing this in this way was huge. And so I didn't know if I would be able to do that. And I remember everyone asking their questions and clapping and, all of the applause. And I remember Dr. Day asking her questions and I'm answering them. And I'm still nervous, trying to talk through the nervousness, even after presenting the information and the findings. I remember Dr. Martin asking her questions, and I decided to challenge myself or stupidity at that moment. I invited the program director and the assistant program director. Both of them were really invested in my study, Dr. L and Dr. R, as we affectionately call them, throughout the Trevecca program. And I remember them asking those questions. And I remember Dr. L asked this question, and I didn't really know where it came from. And it was talking about how my study could be in relation, or well, how would I pitch my study to superintendents, and what would be the why as to why they would be invested. And I remember him saying, "Well done." And I paused. I took a deep breath, and the call went silent to the point in my mind that I thought that everyone was disconnected. And I remember Dr. Patrice Martin saying, "I think we can all agree, I'm safe to say and introduce Dr. Jason Walcott." I exhaled, and I just remember feeling like, whoa, I can breathe. I can breathe now. All of the struggle and the fight was worth it. Oof. That everything that I thought wasn't going to come to fruition was coming to fruition, and I am now doctor. And I remember my dad speaking, and he spoke to Dr. Martin, and he spoke in front of everyone. And he was saying, "Thank you for taking care of my son." And I'm grown, fully been grown for a long time, but it was something about him saying that really made me emotional. And as an adult, those are things that still rock with me when your parents tell you that they're proud of you. But I think, him witnessing how hard I worked in person, going to his house, traveling to Florida with my books, and having to stay up late nights. There was no real vacation. The vacation from work was not a vacation from Trevecca. So him seeing me write at that time at his house, chapter one, he spoke about how he saw how hard I worked and how much I was studying. And to see everyone on the call, I don't remember everyone that was on the call. I just remember seeing some of the comments, and I remember just the tears coming because I was now doctor. This was my fourth degree. And I used to say, I still say, for no more. The terminal degree that I didn't think would come to pass has now come to pass, because when you do your final defense, that's it. And I just took a deep breath. And so in the road to that, put my dissertation up for publication. So waited for that. I am happy to report that my dissertation is published in ProQuest. My title of my dissertation is Light in the Shadow of Darkness, the Culture of Aesthetic Education. And so feel free to support. I am going to put the link in the description box so you can click and read my first my first book. And I'm also happy to report that my writing is Copywritten in the Library of Congress. I received that credential earlier in 2025, and that was a feeling that I'll never forget. Going to Google yourself and seeing, hey, your work and what you've done. Um, and so, I have a hard copy here, and I remember just reading a little bit of the inscription before I talk about the journey to um, graduation and what that looked like. The dedication says, God, I dedicate this dissertation to you. Everything that I am and I am becoming is because of you. I'm eternally grateful. Thank you. Secondly, to every individual who did not take no for an answer, the world awaits your greatness, so keep going, soldier. Finally, to my village, from the ones who were there from the beginning of my life, to the temporary one, to the temporary, to the ones I met along the way. I appreciate you as you've helped me become who I am today. And so, why I wrote kind of a three-part dedication page was because one, I love three, but more importantly, um, it kind of sums up all of I am and who I am becoming. Um, Graduation day. I'm traveling to Tennessee by way of Georgia. Um, there were many things I wasn't particularly excited about going because December 10th, I've been done. I've been Dr. J since December 10th, 2024. And so set a course to Tennessee on May 2nd, because May 3rd was the ceremony. Wasn't particularly excited. Excited to see my dad, and I think what made me emotional a little bit was to know that my stepmom, who had said, "I hope I make it," was able to get on a plane. Um, Cancer in remission, and was able to make it to the graduation. Graduation day, I think it finally started to hit me when I put on the hood and all of the festive things, for lack of a better word. Um, I remember that happening, and I said, "Wow, this is it." And I remember climbing the stage, and it took everything in me not to fall apart, because although I had became Dr. J on December 10th, it was something about being in the moment of hearing them call your name with the doctor in front of it. And I remember her saying, Dr. Jason Elon Walcott. And I also remember Dr. L saying, there goes Dr. J. Um, it was very indescribable, and everything was worth it. Through every hard trial and place that I've been, everything was worth it. And as I continue to navigate this new life of Dr. J, and whatever God has for me next, I'm eternally grateful because the dream I had as an adolescent didn't die, but it came alive. And so my prayer is as you watch this journey in me becoming Dr. J, that it inspires you to do what you're called to do in this earth and do it to the best of your ability. My prayer is that you are blessed, you are encouraged, you are uplifted, you are inspired. Not because of what I've been through, but to know that I'm on the other side. It is my prayer and my hope that for every no that you ever heard, and the no's that I heard, and the self-doubt that you experienced and I experienced, turn into a yes in your spirit, knowing that you are everything that you are supposed to be at the appointed time. So God bless you. And until we meet again.